All right, so it was announced earlier on Monday that Yu Darvish, he's going on the 15-day IL, and he's dealing with right elbow inflammation. I read on Kevin Acey's article that he put out that it's not known if he needs surgery or not. I wasn't even thinking about surgery. I just thought that this is like a maybe not a phantom IL because he probably is hurting. Like he's spending an hour after starts in the training room. At least that's what I read. So he's spending longer periods of time in the training room getting his body worked on. So there's something wrong there. And he's had some shorter outings as of late. So he's probably hurting. But I took this as the Padres just shutting him down. I mean, Bob Melvin was answering questions from the media about this. Like, oh, maybe he only misses a couple starts and he comes back. There's literally no point in Yu Darvish coming back. So shut him down. You shut Joe Musgrove down. Jake Cronenworth, obviously, he's done. And maybe there's some other guys that you think about shutting down at some point. Maybe you don't shut down someone like Manny Machado, or you shut down someone like Xander Bogaerts or Fernando Tatis Jr., because I think that probably would be a bad look that these guys are getting paid that much money and they're just not going to play. But maybe you DH guys more often, right? You DH Manny. Once you're officially eliminated, maybe you give some guys some off days. You take it easy because there's no point in having guys risk injury here, especially pitchers that are on long-term contracts like Yu Darvish. He has 5 more years left on his contract, $78 million. He gave up 13 earned runs in his last 3 starts, just 9 innings in his last 2 starts. So he's not going as long. He's a vet. You're out of it. You need him healthy to start next season. Have a strong offseason. Be ready to go. There's no WBC that maybe throws him off. Be ready to go for 2024 because next year they got to make the postseason. Like, there's no freaking excuses. I thought there was no excuses for this year. There's definitely no excuses next year. They have to make the postseason. And Yu Darvish is going to have to be a significant part of that. So, yeah, it's like Musgrove. Musgrove's, he's throwing right now, but there's no point in him getting on a mound. There's no point in Darvish throwing again this season. 0 point. It's like some other players around baseball, like Shohei Ohtani. What's the point in him playing? You could point that with Cronenworth. You point that with Darvish. You point that with Joe Musgrove. And then if you look at the rest of the Padres roster, are there any other players on this roster that you would say, okay, we should shut it down? Michael Wacha is someone that comes to mind, but that I think would only be if like the Padres know they're going to pick up the club option for 16 million next year and then 16 million the year after that. Then you maybe shut him down because you know you're going to have him. But like, yeah, you throw Rich Hill in place of Yu Darvish, which is what they're doing. You don't shut down someone like Josh Hader because I don't see him coming back. You shut down Seth Lugo. I mean, maybe he doesn't come back. He'll probably try to go to free agency. But yeah, there's not a lot of guys on here that I would say you shut down. I think that like guys that I mentioned, like Bogarts, like Manny, like Tatis, like Soto, maybe you give them some DH days and maybe give some guys some off days. You don't shut them down because I think that's bad. That's a really bad look. But especially for pitchers, they're shutting down the guys. At least I hope that they're shutting down the guys that they should be shutting down. Darvish, no point in him pitching. Musgrove, no point in him pitching. Cronenworth, fractured wrist, probably out anyway, but there's no point in him returning, obviously. So, yeah, shut those guys down and be ready to go for 2024. That's what I would say about that. This pisses me off. I respect you, Darvish, and his toughness, but what is the point in him pitching again this season? AJ Cassavell tweets this out. Yu Darvish addressed his injury after the game tonight and said his intention is to pitch again this season. Why? 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 There's literally no point in him pitching again this season. The only thing that can happen from him pitching again is him further injuring himself and maybe missing the start of 2024 or having to have surgery. So let's say he comes back, makes 1 start, 7 shutout innings. What does that mean for the Padres? It means absolutely nothing. So that would be an idiotic decision for the Padres to allow. I get Darvish wanting to be tough and be a team player and want to finish out the year. Like, that's just the competitiveness in him. But if the Padres allow that to happen, that is stupidity on the Padres' part. That's just stupid for Darvish to want to for Darvish to be allowed to pitch again. I don't want to say it's stupid for Darvish to want to pitch again. I get it. Competitiveness. That would be stupid for the Padres to allow him to do that again.